Witness the fight the boxing world has been waiting for on Netflix. Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford face off for the first time in their legendary careers for the Super Middleweight Championship in Las Vegas. The winner will walk away the greatest of their era. Watch Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Live only on Netflix.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? But with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers, a network of 130 million of them, in fact. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills, and did I say job title? See how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
With a major selection of the looks your kiddos love starting at just $4 in the Walmart app, a new school year means a stylish new them. Who knew? Find skater skirts and Crocs that say, I'm casual but cool. Sparkly sneakers that say, it's my classroom, you're just learning in it. And preppy polos that say, I'm the teacher's pet, even if they're mommy's menace at home. Find their favorite styles starting at just $4 in the app. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new.
This is Anything But Footy, the Olympic and Paralympic podcast, with the latest in our group of special episodes looking ahead to the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo. They're underway. I'm Michael.
And I'm John. And the women's 800 metres with Georgia Hunter-Bell and Keely Hodgkinson, the Olympic champion, is set to be one of the highlights, of course, for Great Britain. But could we see a British man back in the 800 metre mix at a world level?
What I achieved in Paris, it was off not a full season and not ideal sort of build-up. So I definitely expect a lot more from myself this year.
That is Max Burgin, Olympic finalist, one to watch in Tokyo, who's kicked on this year with another PB. You're listening to Anything But Footy. Do stay in touch with us all the time. Follow us across your favourite social media platforms. Read all about us on our website. You can read our blogs there. You can listen to what we do. And you can look at some pictures of us as well. It's always nice. That's at anythingbutfooty.com.
The World Athletics Championships is underway in Tokyo. Still a full week of racing to come, though, on the roads, the track and the field as well. The men's 800 metres starts on Tuesday. And although the Olympic medalists from Paris last year, Emmanuel Wanyonyi of Kenya, Canada's Marco Arup, and Djamal Sebjati of Algeria are among the fastest again in 2025, I think you've got to look as well at world champion from 2019, Donovan Brazier, and fellow American Josh Hoey, because as Michael said in the last episode, the Americans had such a great Paris 2024. I don't think you can rule them out in these World Athletics Championships as well. But in this episode, we also want to talk about a big British chance as well, because Max Burgin nearly beat Wanyonyi in the Diamond League final, and he recorded a new personal best with a fast finish in that London stadium, a race so fast he needed several minutes to steady himself after giving his all. Well, I'm glad to say he's okay now, and he's been speaking to Michael about the men's 800 metres in Tokyo.
There's not much more than to be pleased with how things have gone so far. I mean, it's been my first full consistent season since 2018, so a long time since I've been able to do this many races. Not since I was a junior. So this is almost my first full. Well, this is my first full senior season. And yeah, to be coming into the World Championships with the sort of experience that I've had on the Diamond League circuit this year, I'm coming in with a lot of confidence and a lot of hopes as to what I can do.
Physically, obviously, it must be good coming into a major with that confidence that your body has been good this year, but mentally as well. How important is that in terms of having that injury-free period of time?
Massive. Sort of like night and day in terms of like what you're expecting from yourself in the races. I mean, approach-wise, I don't think there'll be any change between how I approach this and how I've approached championships in the past, and that's purely because I'm naturally quite a very nervous person around racing. It doesn't really matter what it is. I'm always going to be sort of go 100% on edge. So it will for me feel like every other race. But yeah, it is always good going into a race and knowing that you can be up there with anyone.
How do you manage those nerves then?
Well, usually I just, I mean, it's quite positive for me usually. That sort of like the nerves feeling being before a race, because I treat it as adrenaline and an extra sort of boost for performance on race day. So that's basically, yeah. I mean, as much as I get nervous in my head, like I am also convinced that it's going to make me run faster. So it doesn't put me off.
What does it mean to you to be at a World Championships representing your country? Obviously, I've seen on social media all the team have been arriving over the past few days. You've got the kit and everything else. What does that mean? How does that set you up inside?
Oh, it's amazing being on the team. I mean, this is my fourth championship now, major championship. Although only I didn't necessarily run in Eugene because of a DVT issue, but I was on the team. So I do feel a lot more, settled into the sort of team environment now. I know, most people on the team. It feels more comfortable now. And yeah, it is genuinely an amazing experience.
And taking confidence from what you achieved in Paris?
Definitely. Oh, I'm going into this championships wanting to exceed what I did in Paris. I think I've come on a lot since then. What I achieved in Paris, it was off not a full season and not ideal sort of build up. So I definitely expect a lot more from myself this year.
And you sit there and say to me and say to others, I'm a medal contender?
Definitely, yeah. No, after that performance in the Diamond League final in Zurich, where I got second, I think I definitely consider myself a medal prospect. I think I should be up there. And that's sort of like to be competing for those medals is my expectation from this championship.
I was having a chat with Dina Asher Smith, and we were having a bit of a geek out about how she breaks down her event, even those explosive sprint events. And how do you break down your event?
I usually think about it in 200s in my head. I guess you've got that sort of like four sections to the race. I guess you've got the first 200 in an eight, where it's usually the fastest. It's the first 200. You're starting, you break at 100, and it's a scramble for the position. So I have the sort of positioning where I'm aiming for, where I want to be, and that's where the first 200 is where you set that up. Next 200 is sort of settling into the pace. The third 200 usually is where most sort of like moves are started, I suppose, down the back straight. If you've got someone who's sat off the pace earlier on in the race, and there's usually at least one or two people wanting to really make a drive for the front, going down the back straight. And then your last 200 is just everything you've got left, particularly when you get into the home straight. Sometimes you want to conserve a little bit around the bend. I mean, definitely in one of my races this year, I did start my sprint maybe a touch too early, went wide and paid the price for it in the last 50 meters. But yeah, no, I would say in my head at least, that's how I break it down into four twos.
And the 800 is an event that in this country, in our country, does capture the public imagination because of the history of it, the fact that you and Ben are genuine contenders going head to head as well at the minute.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is a very interesting event, both domestically and globally at the moment. Obviously, we've got a lot of domestic talent this year. There was a lot of people with the qualifying time. There was a big sort of like scramble for it, and that made our national champs very interesting. Obviously, me and Ben last 2 years have hit that 142 low. We're both sort of in touching distance of that British record, and we're both, imagine, in the next few years aiming for that. But globally as well, the event has really like moved on in the last few years times wise, and I think that is what a lot of people want to see. People want to see people running fast, and I think that was partly a reason for sort of disinterest in the event. Like 3 or 4 years ago, a lot of races were going very tactically. no one was really anywhere near the world record. 143, 144, sometimes was often good enough for major champs, and it really feels now in the last few years that the standard is back up to proper world class level. And yeah, every race people are talking about the world record getting broken. So yeah, it's a very exciting event at the moment.
Quick one before we wrap up. Your coach is your dad. How does that work? Where does coach start and coach end, and dad start and dad end, or is it completely interchangeable?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of blurring, I guess, and I think that is a positive. I think having my coach be such a close family figure keeps me very, very accountable. For one, there's no getting away from him, and also, there's absolute trust, I guess, which I get the impression a lot of athletes, don't always have that with their coaches. It's a much more professional relationship, which can work, and that for a lot of people that can be better than having such a, than having any sort of like familial connection with them. But for me, definitely it helps with even like motivation and stuff like that. Having my dad be in that role, and wanting to make him proud and do my best that way.
And does he know when to ball you out and when sometimes you maybe just need a arm around the shoulder?
Oh yeah, no, he's very after my injury record, he's a very cautious coach. We don't take many risks in training. And I think that's shown through this year, to be honest. Actually getting through the full season.
Well, you've had a terrific year. Let's hope you'll finish it on a massive high in Tokyo. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you. Cheers.
Max Burgin and the heats for the men's 800 metres, including Ben Patterson for Great Britain, start on Tuesday morning, UK time, around 11:30.
So many medal hopes and opportunities, I think, for the Great Britain and Northern Ireland team in Tokyo. It will certainly be one to follow, and I would recommend that you follow us, of course, because we will be across it on our social media platforms, and listen out, of course, for all the very latest on TalkSport, because that's where I will be for the next 9 or 10 days. And when I talk about some of those medal hopes, fantastic that we've heard from so many of them over the last few days on the podcast. We've had some brilliant previews from Georgia Hunter-Bell, from Josh Kerr, from Dina Asher-Smith, Daryl Neater, the trio, No Win, No Fee, Lake Jake and Jamili. That's Morgan Lake, Jake Whiteman, and Adam Jamili, of course. And we also, in our 400 metres special, heard from Matt Hudson-Smith, Anne Browning, and Charlie Dobson. So do go back through them and give those a listen if you want to hear those interviews again. And as I said, our social media will be full of World Athletics Championships and everything Olympics and Paralympics over the next week or so. You can always read about us at the website, anythingbutfooty.com. You can chill out with some Olympics music, if you like. Enjoy the Spotify Olympics music playlist from Anything But Footy, and stay with us. We're moving on to Milan and looking ahead to LA.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.